third-party assurance is provided through SOC reports. So we'll talk about what are SOC reports, and then can we rely on SOC reports. All right, so SOC reports. Let's talk about that acronym because we want to make sure we're going to cover the bases to make sure we're all on the same page. That acronym stands for Service Organization Controls Reports. And a SOC report is a written report by an independent CPA.
Hold on there, sir. I need to correct your meaning of the acronym for SOC. In April of 2017, the American Institute of CPAs revised the meaning of SOC from Service Organization Controls to System and Organization Controls. So, the acronym remains the same, and, essentially, the scope of services is the same. However, there are some changes that you might want to highlight in this presentation. Just making sure you are on top of your game. You can proceed now. But we're watching you.
Or CPA firm attesting to the adequacy of the internal controls supportive of IT services provided by the service provider. And we're going to add something to that as asserted by the service provider. So, and I know you were looking at that and that appears to be kind of circular. Don't worry, we're going to have an appreciation for just what that means as we go through this. And one of the ways that we'll have an appreciation for what a SOC report is I'm going to compare that SOC report to something that we're familiar with, just to see the similarities, because we're all familiar with an audit report. An audit report is a written report by an independent CPA or CPA firm opining on the extent to which a company's financial statements are presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. So when you think about that, there you have an auditor that's performing their audit driven by a set of principles that we're all familiar with, generally accepted accounting principles. You know, the matching principle, revenue principle, principle of going concern. So those principles drive that audit so that auditor is looking at those financial statements to determine conformity with, to ascertain conformity with generally accepted accounting principles. Let's go back up to the report that deals with the SOC report. While the financial audit or the audit report deals with opining on the extent to which a company's financial statements are presented in conformity with generally accepted accounting principles, the SOC report is, the CPA firm is attesting to the adequacy of the internal controls supportive of the IT services. So what we're talking about is third-party assurance, not necessarily on financial statements. I'm just doing that as a comparison. What we're talking about here is third-party assurance. And, you know, let's face it, when it comes to third-party assurance, I mean, we're CPAs, we're kind of at the top of the food chain on that, right? Third-party assurance from a CPA firm